Today I'm looking at a Ford Anglia that's been fitted with a Mazda MX-5 engine. This one's only firing on 2 cylinders. It has ran on all cylinders at one point, then it started a misfire and now it's only got 2 cylinders working. Apparently the 2 and 3 are good, and the 1 and 4, they share the coil on a what's it called? Wasted spark. Couldn't think of the word then. Wasted spark on 1 and 4, and a wasted spark on 2 and 3. So we're going for the one that works first. It's a new coil. We've got the 3 leads connected. Going in here with the ignition on. I'm going to crank it, get it to run and see what happens here. Get a look at these waveforms so I know what a known good should look like. There's no OBD on this, so I'm just going to... I've got some waveforms going on over there. It's actually running on 2 cylinders. I'll switch it off and go and have a look with you at those waveforms. It'll be quite interesting to see what's going on the known good. So we stop it by pressing the space bar and then go up to the waveforms at the top there. Just go back a few pages until we see some sort of picture. Did it take me that long to get out of the car? Not seeing anything there. Wow. Not seeing anything. There we go. Right. So what I got here, red channel stays almost like a ground all the time. Got some interference. The blue one. What do we have on the blue? If I can bring that up a bit. Try and get it there. So that's 13.5 on the blue. It does drop. It's dropping here. So it's like we're losing the volts when I've got a voltage drop at the same time that the green channel, the green one on here, my red lead broke, so I'm still in the red channel, but it's a yellow lead. But the green channel is the trigger. There. And there. So we do have a voltage drop, quite a big drop. Let's see what it's going down to. And this is the known good as well. So it's going down to about 11 volts. So we're losing a volt whilst that's doing the dwell period. Whilst it's got the dwell period on the cylinders, we're losing a volt. I'm guessing this will be the dwell period on the other ones. So now we've got a known good, we can switch it to the 2 cylinders that don't work. That apparently don't work, which is these 2, and see what's going on with them. Put the leads in the same places and see what happens. So this is the same one again, as the voltage drop is in line with the trigger to give it the duty cycle. Every time we're losing about, well, that's 11.8, and the voltage, if I bring down another one, roughly to there, it's 2.1 volts of difference right there. See the battery voltage and what it's going down to. So it's dropping 2.1, so we've got a massive voltage drop there. So that might be the problem why it's not running too well. We only have this coil here. So shed power through them all, I think it's going to be, and that's why we're seeing the voltage drop in the middle too. It might be that it's deliberately shutting the injectors down, and that's why 2 cylinders aren't doing anything. I don't know. I need to go and check the other ones like I said. But you can see it lines up, the dwell of the trigger lines up perfect with the voltage drop. So let's move it over and see what we find. It's quite tight going in there. See, I don't want to bend the little pin, kink it or something. And just take this bottom one out so they're in the same places that they were in the other side. Oh, you weren't even seeing that, I don't think, but all I'm doing is moving them, nothing really exciting. I just didn't want to much of that you saw. I've just moved them from there to there, and I don't think I had you in view. So press the spacebar again so this is ready to record. And we get enough waveforms here that I've got time to come out and get a look at what's going on. So the same as before, I'll start the car. One more thing I forgot to say, I'm using the power probe's ground lead. So these are all going straight to the battery ground, which is in the back of the car. So I am using that ground. Let's try this again. Same as before, start button at the side. Up. Try again. Oh, it's not happy with something. Like I've got a dead battery, which can happen because it's not going to run like this properly. Luckily I was just sent a jump pack, so I'll go and use that again. Crank this and then we can check what I wanted to check before on that laptop over there. That's the jump pack connected. Now I'll try this again, hopefully. Hopefully I can get a waveform. It's one of those frustrating things when you're diagnosing and the battery's too low. Okay, it's running. Pretty much the same as before. I'll go and show you what I see. Let's go stop that. And go back a few pages up here on the waveform. I had to go back quite a while last time as well, wondered where they were. There we go. So we do have a trigger and a voltage drop. Trigger looks different, noticeably different, you see. It's not as much of a square wave. So we do have a trigger, but we definitely have, it doesn't look right. So is it actually triggering here, or is it only that tiny bit at the top? Looks like the voltage drop starts at the same place as that's going down the voltage drop, so it looks like it is triggering even though it's not all the way at the top. I think it might be okay, so maybe it's just a coil. I don't know, I've not checked that. He said he's tried that, so I haven't, but this is just where I'm starting. Voltage drop. I might have to put a jumper onto that one. That'll do all the coils and see if that helps improve it. Now that I know the top one's the trigger, and they're both getting a signal, although they don't look the same, it may just be a character of the coils being slightly different. That fault could be at the ECU and that's causing that. So what I'm going to do here first, before I do the power voltage drop test, I'm going to go and check that we have both triggers working at different times to each other. Just a thought that I should check that as well, in case we're getting a trigger they both fire at the same time for whatever reason. There's that trigger I was saying about. We've got the red and the green and the red and the green. You can see how different they look here. I don't know, it might be that it's not working because of that, which would indicate an ECU maybe that's switching it. It could just be a character of the coil. I could swap the coils over and see if it is the ECU or whether it's this. That's one thing I could do. I'm still going to go back to the voltage drop idea. We also need to check the injectors. So the coil places have been swapped. A bit of swaptronics. The green lead and the yellow one, which is going to be the green. Just to confuse you, the yellow one's the red because this morning the lead was broke. So they're the two we're using. So the leads are in the same place. So I'm going to start this again and see, do we still have the curvy green one and the square red one? Just timed out right on me there. Okay, curvy green one. Is the green one still curvy? If it is, it's the ECU, maybe. If it's the red one that's curvy now, it's just a character of the coil. Let's try that. ignition. Actually, I've got to help this run with my foot for a while, so I'll just get in. Okay, we can switch it off there, that's enough. Right, get out of there again, stop it, and I think I said green was curvy before. Let's go back a few traces, a few screens. There we go. Now we've got the red is the curvy, so it's switched. So it's the leads are in the same place. The new coil is on the green lead still, but now that looks square. So it's not the coil, it's actually the ECU. Because the green one before was curvy. The same lead's in the same place. So it's not the ECU is what I'm trying to say. The same lead. Let's think about this. The same lead is in the same place on here. The green lead. But it's got the new coil. So the green lead's in the same place, and that's got the same trigger wire coming from the same part of the ECU. So if the green one with a new coil is still curvy, it's coming from the ECU. And now we can see the green one's flat and the red one is curvy. Like I say, that red, but I'm using the yellow lead on the red channel just because my red lead the end fell off this morning. So that's in the same place, coming from the same ECU and the same trigger wire on that one that we're seeing in red, and that was straight before. So it's not the ECU that's causing that, it's the coil, or a character of the coil. The coil may be fine. I think now we do have the voltage drop, but I think maybe we should check the injectors as well. Just done that test, and although I'm back probed at all of the injectors, see on here where we've got a different coloured wire on each one, this is a spare wiring harness that they've tried. So I could figure out which colours were the different one. So I've just made a note on them and gone into them all, and I'm only getting the blue. Oops, just hit my phone. I'm only getting the green one. It's working, which on here is the cream and blue coloured wire. So I can't be firing on one cylinder. So I'm going to have to recheck my leads and make sure that they're in properly. But yeah, there's only one cylinder showing that it's doing anything here. I've just checked the wires again on the car down there, where they go into what looks like this. This is the spare loom. They're in the right places. Again, we only see the green one here, but we notice that they're all sitting around battery volts. So they've all got power coming in through the common wire, which goes to the model, which is the blue with the white. No, it's white with a blue. If I show you, I don't know why I'm showing you the wall. The white with the blue goes to the mall. But there's only one wire that's being controlled, so it's like all three wires are not being controlled, and I don't think it's deliberately shutting it down, because, why I say that is because we would see it fire the injector first, and then when it realizes it's not happy, like there was no spark for example, then it would shut them down, but each time you start it, it should do this. I can't plug in and get fault codes because of how this car's been done, which is a little bit annoying, but if I offset them a little bit, you see there, they're all at battery voltage. I'll bring it back up to where it was. So kind of there, they're all on top of each other, battery voltage with the ignition on. There's only the green one that's working. So somewhere we've got to see why these aren't getting a signal. What I might be able to do is go to the other side of the same plug and do the same thing there and check in case it's just the plug. Otherwise I've got to go to the engine ECU and check the same thing there. The wires come through to here inside the car, into this box. going by the same colours, the only ones that are the same colours and they're next to each other, yellow black, purple blue, yellow red, and then the yellow and blue again. Looks like yellow green actually. Better check I'm on the right ones. I'm just trying to use it as a continuity tester. I'm getting power to the ECU, so if this comes through the injectors and back to the ECU, we need to see that we've got power on those same wires all the way back here. What I've decided to do now is connect to the back of the alternator with a test light, so anytime I touch something that's a ground, I'll get power. So I'm going to the ECU. This is me trying to check the ECU now. Right, that's just resting in there. That lead going on to the yellow and black. That was one of the wires that I said was going to the injector. That same wire color down here. Power probe. I've got the battery voltage, the same wire. It's disconnected at the ECU. So I'm going to give this a ground. See, there's a ground. You see the test lights lit up, the red dot over there. Let go of the ground. So we know that wire's okay. I'm going to go through the others and do the same test. My way through them all, and I'll save you the film in it just to save some time. But see there, this isn't the last one, the cream and blue that looks more cream and green on this side. But those 4 wires, when we plugged them in, they had 12 volts. So that meant there was continuity. They've all got the power going to the injectors. So we know the injectors have power. And I can light the test light here. We're using that. Well, that's not as much power as a injector, but we know we have power here. So what I'm going to do now is plug this back in. We can go through these again using the power probe. The injector test function, just to save a bit of time and see, are we getting anything going on? So we do have an injector mode here. So if I bring this down, fuel injector, right, we'll go for that one. But nothing there at the moment, so we need to start the car and see, do we have anything going on? Nothing. Let's go through all these. Nothing. Yeah, there's one that's working. You see, that's what we get. Some information going on there. We missed it, but when it sees a signal, we've got the other 2 to check. Won't take me long now, and I think we're done. Oh, there we go. So there's one. Can't remember where it was at. Go through them all again. Top one. Next one is okay. Next one's okay. And the bottom one, nothing. So if not, I don't know if you can hear me over that, but using this, we see the on time and the injection voltage, the 69. I'll try and hold that now. I need there. So roughly 70 volts spike, on time 2 milliseconds, nearly 3. ECM ground is 1.2 volts and the injection is 14 volts. So go to the other one, nothing, and that one, nothing. So these 2 in the center are okay. So it's the 2 at the ends that aren't. Okay, I'll switch that off. So we know the wire's okay all the way to here, and it's only the ECU that controls it. So it has to be this that's faulty. We know it was doing a trigger all the way to the coils. There was a slight voltage drop, but we're not getting any control on these. another thing, if it was intentional, if I go into the top one right here, nothing going on. If I switch the car off, if I start it again now, that should flash, that should do something. You know, it should start and then realize there's no spark or whatever. If it was intentionally cutting the fuel injector, we should see that work first, and then it'll cut out after. So it's definitely the ECU that's faulty. I've removed the lid off this. Now what I noticed is the two that I was looking at that are actually not working are these two, the yellow and the brown wires here. And they come round right here. They go into one. They both go into one wire right there. If I shift them out of the way. See there? They both go into the one wire. That's two wires. Yellow and brown goes into the one yellow. So it'll be firing two wires. Not two wires. It'll be firing two injectors. A bit like a wasted spark coil. But in this case, the injectors are doing the same. And then if we look at the other two, on the inside, the two that were working, is the purple and blue and the yellow and red. On the inside, they change colour to white and grey, kind of slightly darker. Right, and they do the same thing. Those two wires are here. White and grey, and they go into one wire. So there, it's like that explains why two cylinders down. The yellow and the white go into here. That's why there's two down, so whatever MOSFET they've got, that's one of these here, must have overheated and isn't working, or something's wrong with it. It might not be getting controlled inside here for whatever reason. But they've got one MOSFET, and that one MOSFET is stopping the two injectors working because of the way it's wired internally. So I can tell him what I found and recommend he gets a new one of these or gets this repaired, and I don't know if I want to repair it myself, but at least I've diagnosed it. A little different than what I usually do, but I thought I would record this one because it's interesting what you do with fuel injected cars where you've got no OBD. Now this one, I think there's a way to plug into that, but I don't have any of that stuff. They have a cable line and stuff like that, like they can connect to their laptop and get codes out of it, but I don't have that ability. I don't even know if I want to go that way with getting all that stuff as well. So diagnosed it without a scan tool anyway. We know it's something internally in there, and now we understand why two cylinders look like they were firing the injectors at the same time and the other two did nothing. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody, and thanks for watching.